Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh Jeffreys video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at some of the best and worst iPhones ever made based on a reliability standpoint. Starting off, we're going to be taking a look at my top 2 picks for the worst iPhones ever made, and then later on we're going to take a look at my picks for the top 4 best iPhones. My pick at the second worst iPhone ever made is the iPhone 7. Now I actually use this as a daily driving iPhone, and I'm actually using it to record this video. Now, up until recently, I thought the iPhone 7 was one of the best iPhones ever made, but recently it has just surfaced that there is many issues occurring to the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus models. Most notably, the loop disease, which has been affecting certain units of iPhones. Now, I actually did a separate video on that, so if you'd like to check that out, I'll leave that linked in the description. But basically, what loop disease is it's an issue with the phone itself. It's a board level issue. Now, this can be caused by drops or just wear and tear on the device. But basically, what happens is it affects the audio IC chip, which basically means your phone will eventually be stuck in a boot loop, but it starts off as Siri not working, voice memos not allowing you to record, no audio when recording a video such as this, and then eventually your phone won't power up anymore and it will just go to an Apple logo and boot up no further. Now, because this is a board level issue, this can't be fixed by a common person such as me. You'd have to get someone else to repair it that specializes in board level repairs, which makes it extremely difficult to repair and is a massive issue affecting iPhone 7 and 7 Plus models. Now, my top pick for the worst iPhone ever made has to go to the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. These iPhones have so many issues that it is actually unbelievable. Some of the top issues affecting these models are bending, baseband issues, touch disease, and an eyesight camera replacement program for the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, I've actually owned an iPhone 6, space gray, and it had baseband issues. What that basically meant was it could no longer connect to cellular networks. It basically, you'd put a SIM card in it and would either say searching or no SIM. This is a common issue, and it is also a board level issue with the device, meaning that you can't easily repair it. With the iPhone 6 Plus models, they're also known for something called touch disease, which is similar to the baseband issue. It's an issue with the board on the device, and basically it renders the entire touchscreen useless, and the phone does not respond to any kind of touch, and it's usually indicated by a flashing bar at the top of the screen. The iPhone 6 Plus is also prone to bending under if you leave it in your back pocket or something like that. I have never run into that issue, but it is a common issue with the 6 Plus. Now I'm going to be giving you my top 4 picks for the best iPhones ever made. Coming in at number 4 is the iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 was the last of the classic Steve Jobs era at Apple. The iPhone 5 shipped with iOS 6, which has to be one of the most stable, fast, and reliable versions of iOS ever released. While some units of the iPhone 5 suffered bad batteries and broken power buttons, Apple did provide a free replacement program for these issues. Now, I'm not including the 5C with the iPhone 5, although the 5C never experienced any of the issues such as the battery and power button. It did share the same internal specs as the iPhone 5, which introduced a lower starting point when it was released, but from a technical standpoint, the iPhone 5C was already technically 1 year old when it was released. The iPhone 5 is also one of the few iPhones that runs extremely fast on all of its supported versions of iOS. All the way through from iOS 6 to iOS 10, the iPhone 5 runs exceptionally well on each version of iOS. Coming in at number 3 for the best iPhone ever released on my list is the iPhone 5S. The 5S was part of sort of the new era of Apple. It introduced iOS 7, which was a completely redesigned version of iOS. The iPhone 5S was the first iPhone to ship with Touch ID, a feature which has since been replaced with Face ID in the new iPhone 10 and 10s models. The iPhone 5S shared a very similar design to the iPhone 5, which has definitely stood the test of time. The 5S is all around a very solid and reliable iPhone. Coming in at number 2 is the iPhone SE. The SE shares the same design as the iPhone 5 and 5S models, but basically the SE was an iPhone 6S packed into a smaller housing with a smaller LCD and battery, which meant you were getting the same processing power as the A9 chip found in the 6S, just in a much cheaper model of iPhone. The only real noticeable difference between the iPhone 6S and iPhone SE is the SE lacks the 3D touch and it has a smaller LCD and battery. Apple also bumped up the storage capacity of the iPhone SE later in its production from 16 and 64 gigs to 32 and 128 gigabytes, which made the SE an even more affordable iPhone. When it comes to price and reliability, the iPhone SE has to be one of the best iPhones. Coming in at number 1 for my top pick on the best iPhone ever made is the iPhone 6s. Now, some models of the iPhone 6s experienced some battery issues with poor battery life, but Apple offered a free replacement program for affected models. Other than that, the iPhone 6s has no known board level or serious issues which render the device useless, like say the iPhone 6 Plus, an iPhone 6, as well as the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus models with that loop disease, touch disease, and things like that, which really render those devices useless once you get those types of issues. The 6s, while the battery was faulty in some units, it's easy to replace by yourself if you're no longer eligible, but if you got that free replacement, the iPhone 6s is a really solid and reliable iPhone. And if you're a fan of that headphone jack, good news, because the iPhone 6s is the last iPhone to ever ship with a headphone jack. The 6s also had no issues like the iPhone 6 did with bending or touch disease thanks to this new grade of aluminum. So that is my top picks for the worst and the best iPhones ever made. I hope you found this video informative, and if you're picking up an older device, maybe this helps you pick out your device and which one you're going to be choosing. If not, maybe this was just good to watch and see what I thought the best and worst iPhones were. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffreys video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the iPhone playlist for more videos like this one. Also, make sure you're following my social media, link will be in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.